Let me ask you something deeply personal. Think about the last time you were on the edge. The last time life pressed down on you so hard that quitting felt like the only reasonable option left. The last time the voice inside your head whispered, not shouted, but whispered, maybe this isn't for you. Maybe it's time to let go. Maybe you've tried enough. Now tell me, what did you do in that moment? Because that moment, that razor-thin, soul-defining moment between giving up and pushing through, that is where legends are born. That is where the ordinary end and the extraordinary begin. That is the exact moment we are here to talk about today. The word quit is one of the smallest words in the English language. 4 letters, 1 syllable, and yet it carries the weight of 1,000 regrets. Every person who ever looked back on their life with sorrow did not regret the times they tried and failed. They regretted the times they stopped trying. They regretted the door they never opened, the dream they never chased, the version of themselves they never became, all because they quit 5 minutes before the miracle. In the next 20 minutes, we are going to go deep. We are going to talk about the moments that break people and the moments that build them. We are going to dismantle every excuse, every fear, every lie you have ever told yourself about why you cannot keep going. And we are going to replace all of it with something unbreakable, a conviction so deep in your bones that no obstacle, no failure, no person, and no circumstance will ever be able to take it from you. This is not a speech for the comfortable. This is a speech for the ones in the trenches, the ones fighting battles nobody else can see, the ones who are tired, genuinely deeply tired, but still here, still showing up, still refusing even now to quit. This one is for you. So settle in, lock your eyes forward, and do not look away, because what you are about to hear might be the very thing that changes the rest of your life. Resilience is not merely the ability to bounce back from a setback. It is the capacity to absorb the impact of a catastrophic failure and use that energy to propel yourself forward with even greater velocity than before. When the world knocks you down, and it undoubtedly will, the average person looks for a place to hide. They seek comfort in the safety of the known. But the warrior, the person who refuses to quit, uses that impact as a foundation to build something stronger. Adversity is the greatest teacher we will ever encounter, because it strips away the superficial layers of our personality and reveals the core of who we truly are. Think of the most resilient figures in history. They did not succeed because they were lucky or because the universe conspired to make their path smooth. They succeeded because they possessed an iron will that allowed them to endure the darkest nights and the fiercest storms without breaking. It is about looking pain in the eye and staring it down until it blinks. Every time you feel like giving up, you are being tested to see if you truly deserve the success you are chasing. The road to your dreams is paved with thorns and gravel, designed specifically to test the durability of your spirit. If you can learn to embrace the struggle, to find gratitude in the struggle, you become unstoppable. You stop fearing the fall because you know you have the strength to rise again. And that knowledge gives you a terrifying advantage over everyone else who plays it safe. Failure is often viewed as the final destination, a tombstone marking the end of a dream. But in reality, failure is simply data. It is a roadmap showing you exactly what does not work so you can find what does. Every time you try and fail, you are not losing, you are learning, you are refining your strategy, and you are inching closer to the solution. The most successful people on this planet are not those who never fail. They are the ones who fail faster, fail harder, and fail more often than anyone else. Yet they refuse to let that failure define their identity. When a child falls off a bike while learning to ride, we do not tell them that cycling is not for them or that they should probably stick to walking. We encourage them to get back on the seat because we know that the failure is a necessary part of the learning process. Yet, as adults, we allow our ego to convince us that a stumbling block is a stop sign. You must rewire your mind to see rejection and defeat as essential ingredients in the recipe of success. It is the fire that tempers the steel of your character. Without the heat of failure, you cannot be forged into something strong enough to handle the weight of success. So when you miss the mark, when you lose the deal, or when you miss the shot, do not hang your head. Analyze it, learn from it, and understand that you have just paid the tuition for a lesson that will lead you to victory. Consistency is the silent killer of talent, because while talent may get you noticed, it is the brutal, unsexy, daily grind of consistency that keeps you there and allows you to conquer. Motivation is a fleeting feeling, a spark that comes and goes like the wind, but discipline is the engine that runs when you don't feel like doing the work. It is waking up at dawn when your bed is warm and your eyes are heavy. It is putting in the repetitions when no one is watching and no one is cheering. It is the art of showing up for yourself every single day, regardless of how you feel, regardless of the weather, and regardless of the results you are seeing. The magic does not happen in a single transformative session. The magic happens in the accumulation of small efforts repeated over and over again until they compound into something magnificent. Most people quit because they are obsessed with the outcome. But if you can fall in love with the process and become addicted to the daily discipline, success becomes a byproduct of your lifestyle. You must become the person who does not need a pep talk to do what needs to be done. When you build a habit of consistency, you build a fortress around your goals that protects you from the unpredictability of life. It turns the extraordinary into the ordinary for you. And eventually you realize that you have achieved what others once thought was impossible simply because you refuse to stop moving forward. Vision is the compass that guides you through the chaos. The ability to see the invisible and feel the intangible before it even manifests in the physical world. If you do not have a clear picture of where you are going, any road will get you there, and you will end up lost in a wilderness of distraction. You need to have a vision that is so vivid, so real in your mind, that it pulls you toward it like a magnetic force. It is not enough to just want something. You must be able to see it, taste it, and live it in your imagination before it ever becomes your reality. When you possess a powerful vision, the obstacles in your path become irrelevant because your focus is locked on the destination. You are not looking at the ground at your feet. You are looking at the horizon. This clarity of purpose allows you to make decisions today that align with the tomorrow you desire. It keeps you grounded when the storms rage around you because you know deep down that this storm is temporary and your vision is permanent. Without a dream, you are just surviving, merely existing through the motions of life. But when you know your why, you can endure any how. Your vision acts as the anchor when everything else is trying to drift you away, and it serves as the blueprint that you follow brick by brick until you have built the empire you envisioned in your mind. Self-belief is the internal voice that screams, "I can," when the entire world whispers, "You can't." And it is the absolute foundation upon which every success is built. If you do not believe in yourself, you have already lost the battle before it has even begun, because you will sabotage your own efforts with doubt and insecurity. Confidence is not something that is given to you by others. It is something that you cultivate internally, a quiet knowing that you are capable of figuring things out and handling whatever life throws your way. It is about trusting your own preparation and your own abilities. When you walk into a room or step onto a field with unshakable self-belief, you alter the energy of the space around you. You stop asking for permission and you start demanding your own respect. This belief is not arrogance. It is a necessary armor against the critics and the naysayers who will always try to bring you down to their level. You must become your own biggest cheerleader, your own best friend, and your own strongest supporter. When the voices in your head are positive and powerful, they drown out the negativity of the outside world. You realize that the only limits that exist are the ones you place on yourself. And once you break through the wall of self-doubt, you realize that you are capable of so much more than you ever imagined. Persistence is the refusal to accept no as an answer, the trait that separates the winners from the losers more than any other factor in life. It is the grit to keep knocking on the door even after your knuckles are bleeding, the determination to keep swimming even when your lungs are burning for air. History is written by those who didn't know when to quit, who were too stubborn to accept defeat, and who kept pushing forward when common sense said to stop. Persistence is about playing the long game. It is understanding that success is rarely a straight line, but rather a jagged, winding path that requires stamina to navigate. You will face rejection, you will face ridicule, and you will face isolation. But if you persist, you eventually break through the resistance. The rock does not cut through the water because it is harder, but because the water continuously flows over it. In the same way, your persistent actions will eventually wear down any barrier standing in front of you. It is about outlasting the competition, outworking the doubt, and outlasting the bad times. When you persist, you are telling the universe that you are serious about your intentions, and eventually the world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match the reality you are fighting for. Never stop, never settle, and never let your persistence waver, because it is the bridge between your potential and your reality as we reach the end of this journey. Remember that the words you have heard are meaningless unless they are backed by the actions you take. The fire has been lit, but it is up to you to keep it burning. The path will never be easy, and the journey will never be short. But the person you become along the way, the person who refused to quit, who refused to settle, and who refused to lose, that is the ultimate victory. Do not let this inspiration fade as a fleeting memory. Anchor it into your spirit. Stand up, take a deep breath, and look your challenges in the face. You have the strength, you have the vision, and you have the will to change your life right now. The world is waiting for you to show up, not tomorrow, not next week, but today. Go out there and make your mark. Leave a legacy that echoes through time. And remember that the only way to truly fail is to quit. So go forth, be relentless, and never, ever quit. Good luck on your journey ahead. Thank you for listening. And thank you for believing in the power of your own potential. You've got this.